So for the people who's first time watching this, my name is XIAO-YU. I am a leadership and intercultural transition coach and also business consultant. You can find more details for sure on my LinkedIn profile or on my website. So we have a saying in Chinese. This is a series of live streaming I'm doing on LinkedIn. Every Thursday, 5 p.m. Central Europe time, I come up live here with a Chinese saying. Could be a word, a phrase, or idiom, or like we say, 成语. Right. And so my goal here is to share my culture, the language, the wisdom behind, but also together with my reflections or thought around that saying on the topics about leadership, intercultural transition, or for individuals, for business, or just simply general for personal or professional growth or development. Because just like the one I'm going to share with you today, which is from more than 2,000 years ago, but many of these sayings are from hundreds of thousands ago, but still apply to nowadays. So I thought it could be interesting to share with more people. Yeah, and let me see. I see we have Mika from Suzhou. Good to see you, Mika. And Jennifer from Brooklyn. Good to see you. Awesome. So enough said. Today, the word I want to share with you is 以终为始. So begin with the end in your mind. Begin with the end. So probably many of you heard about this, the begin with the end in your mind from the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. So it's talk about in the book, he talks about this is a mindset you want to have. So to think and do everything with the clarity of your ultimate goal, right? So the purpose in your mind from the very beginning. And very interestingly, actually, we had this concept or this idea really from 2,000 years ago. We had this a book. It's a collection of many different books or from different authors about the ancient Chinese medicine. It's called the Huangdi Neijing. It says to be the earliest written record of traditional Chinese medicine. Yeah, so one of the great achievements of that book is based on the observations and experiments, they really summarize many things into series, which later on became actually the foundation of the modern medicine. Of course, that book, though that collection is more focused on our body, our health, the nature. But later on, some people decided to dive in a bit deeper, and actually through the years, many of those series from the medicine somehow developed into different philosophies or ideas. So today the 以终为始 actually is one of them. And I also see Fu Xiaobai from Boston. Great. So we have 2 people from the East Coast today. Awesome. So 以终为始. Yi here it means like in English the with, right? And the 终 is the end, the final. Wei is take something as something or use something as something. 始 is the start, the beginning. So begin with the end in your mind. Originally, for sure, in the book, it talked about spring is the time, the beginning of the year, and the spring is also the time for thinking or planting the seed, for you to decide to plan what you want to harvest in the autumn. And even the spring, the decision you made in spring can decide what you are going to harvest next year or in the next few years, right? So that's the purpose of the spring, the planning, the thinking ahead. Begin with the end, the harvest in your mind. And today, reflecting into our life and work, I want to talk about it's so often we get busy with the small task or the current urgent challenges, or sometimes people call that crisis, right? We try to put out the fires here or there. But many times when we are too busy with those, we forgot how important to also think about the strategy to prepare for the future, to think about what to do next in long term, or what we really want exactly from all we are doing now or we are busy with now. Right. So when we imagine when you face something urgent and important, we turn into the survive mode. But the important but not so urgent items, usually they are where our purpose and ultimate goal are, right? And that's also where we strive from. So with that, and I also see Stephanie. Good to see you, Stephanie from Canada. So we started. I have 2 points I want to share with you about begin in with the end in mind. The first one is begin with the end in mind. It's a strategy. Probably many of you heard about the 5 whys. You ask the why 5 times. And for me to help people explore these about where is your end you want to be, my favorite question is actually what's next. So let's say, okay, you want to reach certain goals with your career or your business. You want to have 8 figures, or you want to get a promotion. You want to work hard to get a certificate, a degree. It sounds pretty realistic. And I am sure it's going to happen one day, probably within your timeline as you wished. The question is, what if you have that now? What's next? Right? That's the end you want to figure out and to have it in the beginning in your mind. This strategy is about the ultimate goal. It's about the direction. So you are not going to get lost. And also it's about only when you can dream it, when you can visualize it, when you can think about it, and then you can do it because you know where you are heading to. Here I want to use an example. Let's say when you are starting out a new business of your own. Let's use this one as an example. So this strategy is crucial through the whole process of creating and building and running and continuously growing your business. So imagine when you are starting out, building from 0 to 1, there's always other voices or distractions, right? Some people have judgment about what you are capable of, or some people try to give you a suggestion or advices. The thing is, after listen and learn around to bring it back to yourself, how can you concentrate on what's important to you instead of what others told you should be focused on, or what other people made you thought that's what's important to you? How can you clarify and focus on that? Begin with the end in your mind. The question here is, what's your definition of success? Your own definition. And then you build up the business. For sure, there'll be up and downs. It's very common, as we all know. And when you face challenges, even failures, or when the things just didn't turn out as you wished, how can you keep going? Begin with the end in your mind. It's a result of your persistence and grit, because you know you are going together. And slowly, your business get on track. It keep growing. Congratulations. Your dream come true, right? You have your own business by your own definition. And thanks to your hard work, you work hard and smart. But what's next? Begin with that end in your mind. It's about what you are achieving now gets you closer to the ultimate purpose or the goal, but you're not there yet. Imagine if you already know this, what's next, the answer for that. And to be honest, the answer can keep evolving. It's now about you start with one and in the beginning and you never change it, right? Keep growing because you evolve all the time. So with the end in your mind in the beginning, you have this benchmark that you can always check in your progress in the process. And you can also see a bigger picture in the beginning, which creates much more space and flexibility to explore how you want to gather, because then you will realize, actually it's not always there's only one answer to the question, or there's only one solution to a challenge. That is the thing, especially when you are building your own business, different from working for someone. You need to follow certain framework or structure or policies. You can make your own rules, but only if you know where you are heading over, right? And for sure, in that case, you will be also less stressed out if the one you are working on now is not working. It's okay, because you can always try another way, right? And probably during that process, you can also open up some new opportunities. So that's the first thing I want to talk about. Begin with the end in your mind is a strategy. And also begin with the end in your mind is also an approach. Because many times people, when I talk about this, people say, oh yeah, driven, value driven and purpose driven, all those abstract, intangible words, right? But I want to say, to begin with the end in your mind is very doable and it's very practical, and you can land it with actions. You don't need to say invest a lot of time, but you do need a strong intention to do that and a commitment to that. So start with the goal setting and then to make an action plan. But also important to clarify what's your principles or bottom lines. So the goal setting, we have a short-term goal that builds the milestones, the momentums, so you can keep going. And you also have the long-term goal that stretch you further, right? The long-term goal is the one moving you forward continuously to your answer of the what's next that you got in the very beginning. Next is the action plan. Action plan actually is about to break the goal into bite-sized, durable little actions. So it's not so scary. And also you are going to have always something to celebrate throughout the process when you have little goals, little action plans, right? I always say celebrate each milestone, no matter big or small, because you deserve it. You did a good job. And we all know the tools or the framework like a SMART goal setting, right? Be specific and be time bounding, all this. But you know what? Only when you have the end in your mind, and then you can describe specifically how you want to get to there. So the last part I want to talk about is to figure out your principles or your bottom lines also in the very beginning. You want to clarify that what is something you will not compromise or tolerate. It somehow actually connect to the other ones, what exactly you want from everything you are doing. Because how is that contribute to your end in mind is with that you know exactly when to say no, and you know who you want to say no to and what you want to say no to, right? So when it happens, you are not going to hesitate and you are not going to waste any time or any energy on that, because you know simply it's not what you want and it does not align with your end in your mind. And the reason I bring this one up in the very end of my sharing today, because it's actually really important, because sometimes we thought in order to get where we want to be, especially with people very goal-driven, people very like high achievers, right? I want to be there. But many times people thought like we have to, or we must keep compromising or tolerating with something in order to gather, because we need to move forward. So many things we choose to ignore or look away until one moment realized that thing you put it in the corner actually is supposed to be our bottom line, the very last thing that you want to lose. Simple example. Some people I work with say, oh, I work so hard to advance my career. I want to have success in my career at my job because I want to set a great role model example, and also create a better life and more opportunities for my children. I want to, to show my children who their parents are capable of. But in the end, that person ended with spending all the time at work for promotion or for working on some project, and ended with being absent from their children, or bring the work back to home, even the work emotion back to home. The question is, how is that serving your ultimate goal, right? Or another example, some people say they choose to leave their corporate job because they want to have more freedom in creating their own business, do what they love, what they're passionate about, and with the people they enjoy working with. And then they ended with follow other people's path, or they try to copy someone else, what they are doing, right? How they do on social media or how they promote their business, because it seems those are proven will be success. Those are proven to work. But hey, remember your original, the ultimate goal you start with in the beginning is freedom. It's the freedom to create what your business to do in the way you want to do. So how you exactly want to do your business? It's like so easy sometimes when we too busy to work on this, to get this little momentum or milestones, we get lost. But it's okay if you have the end in your mind in the beginning. and checking on yourself from time to time, you are going to come back on track. So knowing what's a no to you is also part of the begin with the end in your mind. Yeah. So with that, I also come to the end of my sharing today. I see we have people online, and please, I'd love to hear from you. What do you think? Or if you would love to leave any comments when you watch the playback, it will be great to hear from you. And thank you for being here. I hope to see you around in the future live events. Thank you.